Hello everyone. I'm Tang Tang from Susan's family. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a new item, the Botanical Sensations series, Flora bunny blanket with a sunflower pillow. For this electronic tutorial, the pattern chart can be found on the website. Search for susud.com to view it. This cushion is divided into a central mesh fabric piece for the edging and decorations. The main part of the cushion is composed of two center mesh fabric pieces, one for the front and one for the back. Just crochet them in order. First, let's learn how to crochet the central mesh fabric piece. I'll explain the crochet method for this fabric piece first. Then, I'll go over various situations you might encounter during the crocheting process. You can watch me demonstrate first, and then refer to the pattern chart for crocheting. Now, let me introduce the crochet method for this fabric piece. The fabric piece uses the diagonal method. It is worked back and forth. It is divided into two sections, the increasing section and the decreasing section. Throughout the process, new yarn is added and colors are changed to crochet the corresponding pattern. After completing the piece, we will add the edging. The stitch techniques used include chain stitches, double crochets, slip stitches, DC2 bobble stitches, and SC2 tog. Please watch my demonstration to make it convenient for you to watch. Here, I'm using thick yarn for the demonstration. The colors are random. For specific yarn details, color choices, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, make a foundation chain 3 stitches. Then move on to the first row. Start with 3 chain stitches. Begin from the 4th stitch in from the hook. Pick up 1 strand on the top of the chain and work 3 double crochets. Here, treat these 3 chain stitches and 3 double crochets as one pattern group. The first row contains only one pattern group. Complete the first row. Move on to the second row. Start with a foundation chain of 3 chain stitches. When working back and forth, you need to turn the fabric over. Turn it counterclockwise. Then pick up these 3 chain stitches. Work one pattern group. Start with foundation chain 3 stitches. At this point, the back side of the chain is facing you. Pick up the half stitch at the highest position corresponding to the chain, that is, the strand above the raised horizontal bar. Work 3 double crochets, corresponding to each stitch. If you're unsure about the position, you can also count from the front side of the chain. Once done, one pattern group is completed. Insert the hook into the first pattern group below. The starting point is the large space next to it, right here. Insert the hook into the large space and work 1 slip stitch. Continue working one pattern group here. Start with 3 chain stitches. Pick up the same hole. Work 3 double crochets. This row now has 2 pattern groups. The second row is now completed. Move on to the third row. Start with 3 chain stitches. Then turn. Pick up the position of these 3 chain stitches. Work 1 pattern group. Here, the back side of the chains faces you. Insert the hook into the highest half stitch and work. After completing, pick up the adjacent pattern group. Work in the gap between the starting chain and the double crochet, that is, the hole next to the turning chain. Make a slip stitch. Then pick up the same hole. Work 1 pattern group. After completing, continue to pick up the gap of the adjacent pattern group. Work a slip stitch. Then work 1 pattern group here. The third row is completed. This row has 3 pattern groups. You can see the texture of this row. It matches up with the first row. This is the right side of the piece. The texture of the double crochets is more even. When distinguishing the right side from the wrong side later, you can refer to the texture. At the same time, the yarn tail for the starting chain should be located at the bottom right corner. Next, work the 4th row. The method is the same as before. Start with a chain stitch. Then work 1 pattern group. After completing, pick the gap between adjacent groups and slip stitch. Continue to crochet the second group. Correspondingly work the pattern groups that follow. Transition between groups with 1 slip stitch. Keep it going downwards. Finish crocheting the last group. Row 4 is completed. This row has 4 groups. Follow the chart below. Continue crocheting the remaining increasing section. This completes the explanation of the increasing section. Next, I will cover a few scenarios you might encounter while crocheting the piece. I will explain and demonstrate using a small sample. First, let me explain how to join new yarn within a row. When you need to join new yarn, please watch my demonstration. We will place the working yarn on the wrong side of the entire piece. Take out the new yarn and make a slip knot. Insert the hook into the gap. Draw the yarn through. Place the yarn tail on the wrong side. Then crochet one motif. While crocheting the motif, you can wrap the yarn tail around the crocheting. This way, within the row, that covers how to join new yarn. Next, I'll demonstrate changing colors in adjacent motifs, which requires leaving yarn tails. There are 2 scenarios. Let's start with the first one. When working around this color block, that is, above or on the left side. If you need to use the same color yarn, please watch my demonstration. After completing this color block, don't cut the yarn. When crocheting the next row, use this same yarn. Simply pull the yarn over and crochet the motif. Place the working yarn on the wrong side of the fabric. Slightly tighten the previous yarn. Don't pull the carried yarn too tight. The carried yarn, when crocheting the next motif, should be woven in as you work. That concludes the first scenario. Next, let's discuss the second scenario. The color block around this area will not use this color of yarn, but one motif below to the left. Or above to the left, the same color yarn will be used. We can simply pull the yarn over and crochet as needed. That concludes the second scenario. This completes the explanation of the method for changing colors in adjacent motifs while leaving yarn tails. Next, we'll discuss changing colors in adjacent motifs without leaving yarn tails. In this case, the color block around this area will not use this color of yarn, but 2 motifs below to the left or above, it will be used. We can leave a 15 cm tail of yarn, then cut it off. When crocheting the motif, we can reattach the yarn. Now, I'll demonstrate how to hide the yarn tail after breaking the yarn. For the color change section, first take the yarn tail from the braid above. Hook out. Slightly tighten it. This is equivalent to tying a knot. The remaining yarn tail is hidden on the wrong side of the fabric. Make sure to weave in several stitches. If you want it to be more secure, you can divide the yarn tail into 2 parts. And hook one part out from an adjacent position. Then tie the 2 yarn tails in a double knot. Then hide the remaining yarn tail together inside the fabric. Make sure to weave in several stitches. For the other yarn tails, except for the starting tail, hide them separately inside the fabric. For the joining yarn tails, continue to weave in several more stitches inside the fabric. This concludes how to handle color changes in adjacent motifs without leaving yarn tails. Next, I'll explain how to handle same color blocks that are far apart in a row, meaning there are 2 or more motifs between them. To make crocheting easier, you can rejoin the yarn in one of the areas. One ball of yarn has 2 ends. One on the surface and one at the center. When you encounter a color that only has one ball of yarn, use the other end to join the yarn. For colors that have multiple balls of yarn, you can rejoin with another ball. First, place the previous color's yarn tail on the wrong side of the piece. Then pick up the corresponding yarn and join the yarn. That's how you handle distant same color blocks in one row. Next, we'll work on the decreasing section. You need to decrease patterns on both diagonal ends. Start by making 3 beginning chains. Turn. Slip stitch into the pattern below. Then work 1 pattern. Continue to work the corresponding patterns. Keep going until you finish the inner side of the last pattern. Then stop crocheting. Proceed with a slip stitch. This way, both the beginning and end are missing 1 pattern. That concludes this row. Move on to the next row. Use the same method. Start with 3 beginning chains. Turn and slip stitch into the pattern below. Then crochet 1 pattern. Continue to work the corresponding patterns. Finish crocheting the inner side of the last pattern. Work the decreasing section of the piece. This completes this row. From now on, follow the method used in the first 2 rows. Continue crocheting, keep going all the way until the last row. When finished, the last row will have only 1 pattern. After completing it, slip stitch into the adjacent pattern. Finally, crochet 3 chains. Turn. Slip stitch into the pattern below. No need to fasten off the yarn after completing it. This concludes the explanation of the decreasing section. This completes the explanation of the crochet method for the piece. After completing the mesh piece, do not cut the yarn. Crochet the edging around the piece. I will demonstrate the method using this small sample. Then start with the first round. Begin with 3 chains. Then, in the gap between these 2 patterns below, crochet 1 slip stitch. Chain 3 for transition. In the next gap, crochet 1 slip stitch. Chain 3 for transition. Continue crocheting slip stitches in the gaps, followed by a chain of 3 for transition, until you reach just before the corner position on this side. After completing 3 chains, crochet 1 slip stitch in this corner position. Chain 3. Then crochet 1 slip stitch in the same position. This completes the corner. Finish this round. This concludes the first round of edging. Now, let's move on to the second round. Crochet 1 slip stitch in the left chain space for transition. Follow the chart instructions. Work single crochets in the chain spaces. Pay attention to the corners, you need to crochet chains there. Finish this round. Finally, insert the hook into the first single crochet stitch. Join with a slip stitch. Cut the yarn and weave in the ends. This completes the second round. Follow this method to crochet another piece. Here, I have already completed one piece, then, connect the two pieces. For the second round, the right side faces out. Pay attention, starting from the third round, overlap the two pieces. Crochet them together. For one of the edges, only crochet the front piece. Leave the back piece unworked. This will create an opening. Sew on the zipper. Now, let's move on to the third round. Take out the new yarn. In this round, crochet double crochets into the single crochet stitches from the second round. Start with 3 chain stitches. At the corner position, pick up the chain space, and make a double crochet. Two chain stitches. 1 double crochet. Then leave one edge unworked. Only crochet the edging on the top piece. Then merge and continue crocheting together. Everyone complete this round. Once finished, pick up the 2 strands of the third chain from the beginning chain. Join with a slip stitch. The third round is complete. Next, let's work the round 4. I'll demonstrate the method using this sample swatch. Get the yarn and join the yarn. Start with 3 chain stitches. In the left chain space, make a DC2 bobble stitch. Yarn over once. Insert your hook under the entire chain. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again. Pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. This completes one incomplete double crochet. Work another incomplete double crochet. Yarn over once. Insert your hook, yarn over and draw through, and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through all loops at once. This completes one DC2 bobble stitch. We'll refer to this as a bobble stitch from now on. Then, chain 4 for transition. Work another DC2 bobble stitch in the same position. After completing it, chain 4 for transition again. Work one more DC2 bobble stitch. Then skip 2 stitches. Work 1 double crochet in the 3rd double crochet stitch from the left. Then skip 2 stitches. In the next stitch, work 2 DC2 bobble stitches. Chain 4 as a transition between them. Skip 2 stitches again. Work 1 double crochet. Continue by skipping 2 stitches and working DC2 bobble stitches and double crochets. Connect bobble stitches with 4 chain stitches. Repeat this pattern all the way down the 4 edges of the blanket. At each corner position, work 3 DC2 bobble stitches into the corner stitch. Connect them with 4 chain stitches. Follow the previous demonstration. Refer to the chart and complete this round. The 4th round of edging is now completed. Next, we will work on the 5th round. Take out the new yarn. Insert the hook into the gap between the standing stitch and the bobble stitch on the right side of the beginning chain. Join the new yarn here. Start with 1 chain stitch. Then pick up the gaps on the right and left sides of the beginning chain. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over once, and draw through again. Complete the SC2 tog. Work 3 DC2 bobble stitches into each of the 2 chain spaces on the left side. Connect them with 1 chain stitch in between. After completing, at the gaps on the right and left sides of this double crochet on the left side. Work 1 SC2 tog. Work 3 DC2 bobble stitches into the left chain space. Connect them with 2 chain stitches in between. After completing, at the gaps on the right and left sides of this double crochet on the left side. Work 1 SC2 tog. Between each row of bobble stitches, connect with 2 chain stitches. At the corner positions, connect with 1 chain stitch. Follow the chart to crochet the entire round. Complete the 5th round. The final round. Everyone can refer to the pattern chart for crocheting. For the single crochet decrease, pick up from the gaps on either side of the single crochet decrease from the previous round. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Finish with 1 chain stitch to secure. Cut the yarn and weave in the ends. That concludes how to crochet the edging. Next, we will sew on the zipper. Take out the pillowcase and the zipper. Place the side of the zipper with teeth facing inward. Start from the left position. Then cut an 80 cm thread. Pull out 1 strand. Thread the needle. Start sewing. Begin by securing the tail on the wrong side. You can make the stitches slightly tighter as you sew. After finishing one side, sew the other side as well. Try zipping it up as you go to ensure it doesn't get sewn crooked. Once this side is done, you can secure both ends slightly. As you sew, try zipping it up periodically to check. That concludes this tutorial on installing a zipper.